everyone, Tamara here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a rosette that you can add to any rag quilt blanket. It looks adorable on baby blankets. If you don't know how to make a rag quilt, I'll leave a link in the description down below to my full tutorial where you will learn everything from the tools that you need to starting your very own rag quilt all the way to the end on how to wash and rag your rag quilt. But for this tutorial, I am just going to be showing you a quick tutorial on how to make that rosette. The first thing that you're going to need to do is plan out your rag quilt. What's the pattern and where are the rosettes going to be? I like to put the rosettes in the four corners of my blanket. You could easily do a checkered pattern. It will take a lot of work because rosettes are a lot more sewing, but it would be adorable in the end. And you could also just do one on each corner and one in the middle. The options are endless. It's really up to you and what you've decided you want to do. Once you've decided how many rosettes you need, that will tell you how many squares you'll need to cut out to make your rosettes. So your base square is going to be the same size as the rest of the squares of your rag quilt. So for my rag quilt, my base square is a 6" by 6" square, and my base also has a layer of batting in it, so I have added that layer of batting to this square as well. Then you're going to need to cut out 4 more squares of fabric. These 4 squares will each be cut out a 1/2 inch smaller than the previous one, and again you're going to have 2 sides to each piece of fabric. So I've got a 5" by 5", 4" by 4", 3" by 3", and 2" by 2". Once you have cut out all of your squares, you're going to take your base square with your batting inside and you are going to sew a crisscross, the same as you would any of your other squares that you're adding into your rag quilt that are not rosettes. And then you are also going to move on to your smallest square. For me, that's a 2" by 2", and you're going to sew a crisscross on that as well. It just makes it easier doing this early than having to do it later when it's all sandwiched together. Once those crisscrosses are sewn, it's time to start sewing all of the squares on top of each other. So you'll take your 6" by 6" square, lay your 5" by 5" square on top of that, and then you will want to sew all the way around, leaving a 1/2 inch seam allowance so that you'll be able to snip that later and rag that. Don't forget, you are going to want to do a back stitch when you start and when you finish. That way the seam is secure. Now do this for all of your layers: 6" by 6", 5" by 5", 4" by 4", 3" by 3", and 2" by 2". Once you have sewn all of your squares so that they are all attached one on top of each other, then it should look something like this. That's the front. And that's the back. On this particular one, I did forget to sew that crisscross before I started, which is unfortunate. But that's what it should look like. So you've left yourself that loose 1/2 inch seam, and that's what you will now rag. This part you can do after you're done doing your entire rag quilt. You can leave all of your snipping till the end, or you can pre-prep your rosettes. That way it's just a little bit easier because you can snip them while they're loose and you can just turn it around and get all of those pieces nicely snipped and then attach it into your rag quilt. If you're going to do the snipping first, please remember, do not snip your base layer because you won't be able to pin it into the rest of your rag quilt and sew it together nicely. When you're snipping all of your edges, I tend to leave a 1/4 inch in between each one, but the closer that you snip all of them, the better it will rag out. And that's that. You've made yourself your rosette. Now it's time to add it into the rest of your rag quilt. Sew it up like you would any other rag quilt. Like I said, I have left a link in the description down below to my full tutorial on how to make a rag quilt. And then your rag quilt, when all is said and done, will look like this. Super soft and pretty. I hope that you will come back next time as I plan on teaching you how to make a rag quilt where you do not have to cut any blocks. It's super easy, super fast, and you'll end up with a beautiful rag quilt. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you tried to make a rosette or if you have any other fun ways to add to your average rag quilt. Subscribe for more crafting inspiration and click that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. See you next time.